Dingling, the doorbell rang, and a man in his 30s, wearing a neat suit, walked into the small coffee shop with a strong aroma of coffee. "Good afternoon. Welcome." The young proprietress greeted him kindly. The man nodded politely and walked to the seat in front of the bar and sat down. He said to the boss, "Please give me a cup of mocha. Thank you." "Okay, please wait." The proprietress smiled. Then she began to grind the coffee beans skillfully and brew coffee. The man kept watching the proprietress brewing coffee with a smile and seemed to like this image very much. Not long after, the proprietress brought a cup of fragrant coffee to the man. "Please enjoy." "Thank you." The man brought the cup to his mouth and tasted it lightly. "Is this your first time here?" the proprietress asked. "Yes," the man replied. "What do you think of our store?" "Very good. The atmosphere is great." "I like it too. So even though the business is not good, my husband and I are reluctant to close it." The man nodded as if he agreed and took another sip of coffee. The two of them were silent for a while, leaving only the melodious jazz music in the empty store. At this time, the man suddenly spoke, breaking the brief silence. Excuse me, can I ask you a question?" "What is the question?" the proprietress asked curiously. How should I put this?" The man scratched his head, looking at a loss. "Can you listen to my story first?" The proprietress nodded, motioning for the man to continue. "I used to have a very good girlfriend, and we were already talking about marriage. The relationship between us developed quite ordinary, not a passionate love that had gone through many ups and downs. But I think from the first time I saw her, it was as if there was a magic power, a voice pushing me, telling me that it was her. She was the girl I had been waiting for. What made me even happier was that she also responded to my courtship and accepted me. All this went smoothly, and I was intoxicated with the joy of happiness. But, did something happen?" The lady boss interrupted the man. "Well?" The man's face darkened, and after a slight pause, he continued to speak. "But I forgot that behind happiness there are often the most terrible demons. One night, a month before our engagement, she was raped by a gangster." "Ah!" The lady boss screamed in surprise. "It's all my fault. If I had insisted on sending her home that day." The man pounded the table hard, causing the coffee in the cup to spill out due to the violent vibration. "Isn't that what you want me to ask?" the lady boss said, while wiping the spilled coffee. No, my feelings for her will not be shaken because of this. I decided to get engaged as scheduled. Unfortunately, on the day of our engagement, she hanged herself." The man spoke in a very calm tone, but from his expression, it can be seen how sad and shocked he was at the time. "Committed suicide? So what happened to her?" The lady boss opened her eyes wide and looked at the man nervously. "Luckily, we discovered it early. She was still breathing when she was sent to the hospital, but her brain was in a coma due to prolonged lack of oxygen. She was even in danger of becoming a vegetable." "Did she wake up later?" "Yes, she did. But when I heard the news that she woke up, I was so happy to go see her, but was stopped by her parents at the door." "Why? Why didn't her parents let you go see her?" "When her parents knelt on the ground and begged me, I learned that she had lost her memory, the memory of the day after she met me. The doctor said it was selective amnesia. When a person encounters a great blow, they will evasively hide some memories. Her parents begged me not to appear in front of him for the time being. They thought it would be better for her to just forget everything that happened before. They were afraid that if I went to see her, she might remember it. and then she might fall into a coma again, or even commit suicide again. What her parents said makes sense. It's only temporary anyway. When his emotions and body are stable, you can see her again. The proprietress said this after listening to the man's words. The man smiled at the lady boss and said, "Do you know how long they mean by temporarily? It's 10 years. That means I have to endure the days without her in these 10 years. Even if we occasionally meet on the road, I have to pass by her like a stranger. Do you know how hard it is to live like this? How painful it is to want to love but not be able to love?" The man shouted in a voice that was almost like a roar. "Although it will be painful, you still choose this path." The lady boss looked at the man with pity. The lady boss's eyes calmed the man down, and he nodded and said, "Yes, and today I can finally go to see her." "Oh, really? Congratulations. You have worked hard for 10 years, and today I can finally go to see her," the lady boss said happily. "That's right, but the closer I get to this day, the more scared I get. It's been 10 years, and my feelings haven't changed. But what about her? What if I tell her about the past and she still can't remember me? Or what if she already has a boyfriend or even married? That's the question I want to ask you." The man seemed to be a little nervous, looking at the young female shop owner in front of him, quietly waiting for her answer. "Well," the lady boss held her head with her hands, thinking about the question raised by the man with a serious face. "I think since you love that girl so much, it doesn't really matter whether she remembers you or not. At most, it's just a fresh start, pursuing her again and falling in love again, which is actually not bad. And even if she has a boyfriend, it doesn't matter. Isn't it okay to snatch her from him?" The lady boss said with a smile. "But—" She suddenly became serious. "But if she's already married, then you should give up. We married people, we hate people who destroy other people's families the most." "Really?" the man said coldly with his head down. "That's right. So you must not be a person who destroys other people's families." The bell hanging on the door rang again, and a few college students who had just finished class walked in. The proprietress walked out of the bar and was busy greeting these new customers. "By the way," the proprietress seemed to suddenly think of something and turned her head to look at the man. "Why do you want to ask me these questions? It's just the first time we met," she asked curiously. "Well, why? Maybe it's because the girl once said that she wanted to open a cafe like this with me after marriage." "Oh, so that's the case," said the proprietress. "Well, that's all, that's all, that's all, that's all, that's all." The man kept repeating the same sentence, as if he was telling himself something. The jazz music stopped, leaving only the sound of college students talking and laughing in the room. The man lowered his head and secretly glanced at the wedding ring on the boss's hand. A drop of warm tears quietly slipped into the cup of coffee that had already cooled down.